Good morning. Welcome to another episode of HardFoul. Hope you guys are enjoying yourself however you are listening, whether it's on SoundCloud, iTunes, YouTube, and or Stitcher. Hope you guys all had a great weekend. I'm back. I know I wasn't here last week. Had a lot of things I was doing last week. Between getting my set finished, I just got my green screen, my lights, microphone, like everything was changing, along with some personal things I had to take care of. But I'm back. Here to stay. I know I've had issues with consistency in the past. That will not be a recurring thing. That was simply had to take care of a couple things. Like I said, green screen, the set, family stuff. But we're good. We're back. And we're ready for a great week. So, since I've been gone for a week, let me get right into this. And this is something I found really interesting. So, I am a Madden player. And I really like playing Madden. Like, I love 2K, I love MLB The Show, but I really love Madden. Most people that play Madden would never tell you, but they have generally 5 or 6 plays on offense that they run, 3 or 4 defense plays they run, and that's about it. Now, they'll always tell you, oh, I switch it up, oh, I do more than that. But in reality, they have 5 or 6 plays, and you know who you are. There's a team in the NFL that's really starting to reflect a Madden player. As I was watching the games yesterday, the game that I really focused in on, because I'm starting to really doubt myself, and I think for the most part have been proven wrong on how much I thought of the Cowboys going into the season, but I think I'm wrong. And the reason I think I'm wrong is because they're playing like a Madden team. I watched the game, and I feel like I knew exactly what the Cowboys were going to do the entire game. And understand, they were not going against a great defensive unit in Green Bay. This was not playing Denver. This was not playing Arizona secondary. This was going against the Green Bay Packers, who have injuries and, honestly, not a whole lot of talent on that side of the ball. When you play Madden, you can run 5 or 6 plays because you're generally playing quick matches and ranked matches, and a lot of times you're not playing the same person over and over again. Thus, your 5 or 6 plays that you know really well don't seem as repetitive. When you're an NFL team, you cannot run the same 5 or 6 plays over and over and over again. Everyone's talking about, oh, Dallas's offensive line is struggling. No, it's not. Not struggling whatsoever. They're still blocking. They're still pushing guys out. But because everybody knows what's going to happen, the same way as if you're running your 5 or 6 plays on Madden and playing someone repetitively, they're going to understand your plays. They're going to be able to sit there and think, okay, I know he's going to run post routes every third play, so I'm going to zone and play sidelines. I know the Cowboys on first down what they're going to do, second down what they're going to do, and if they decide to drop back and pass, it's going to Jason Witten or Cole Beasley, so I'm double teaming them. And occasionally, and you'll see this with the Madden players, they will do something that is not in their norm just to try to prove to you, oh, look, see, I can do something different. But it looks awkward. You know what looks really awkward right now for the Dallas Cowboys? Throwing to Dez Bryant. Like, Dez Bryant is supposed to be an elite receiver. He is supposed to be a big-time playmaker. He's wearing 88 for the Dallas Cowboys, for gosh sakes. And yet, he's really not making plays, and it almost looks like he's an awkward part of their offense. When you tell someone, oh, you can only run the ball, you can't actually throw, and they try to throw on you just to try to prove a point, and the play just looks awkward because they don't have their timing, they don't have the routes down, they don't have this sense of familiarity with the play. That's what Dallas looks like when they're not running halfback dive or halfback stretch. Like I said, I am not an NFL play caller. I am not someone who knows X's and O's down to like the different terminology and play calling style that teams run. But even I can sit there and look at this and go, wow, I know what they're going to do. Oh, they're about to do this. Oh, well, yep, it looks that formation. All right, they're about to go here. That's not what you're supposed to do if you're an NFL team. Like, what is Dallas's offensive coordinator, which Jason Garrett, I don't know if he has full assumption or full priority of calling plays on offense, or if he just has a good influence. But what are you doing during your staff meetings? Hey, it's okay, guys. We'll just run the ball a couple times. We'll figure it out. We have the best offensive line in football. We'll just kind of push the other team out of the way. That doesn't work. You know who does really well in Madden? Like the top echelon players are the guys who have multiple formations they like to run out of. The guys who in some cases can even use multiple playbooks. The guys who throw to multiple receivers and or targets. You know who does really well in the NFL? The St. Louis Rams this year, throwing to 3 or 4 different guys. The Kansas City Chiefs with Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce, Kareem Hunt. Denver's offense, which is much improved. You know why? Because they have 2 or 3 tight ends they get involved in the game. They have Demaryius Thomas, Emmanuel Sanders, Benny Fowler. New England, even though they didn't look like it on Thursday night against the Buccaneers, simply due to the fact they have so many injuries, but when they're spreading the ball around, Hogan gets a few catches. Julian Edelman gets his catches. Gronkowski gets his catches. There's always a running back out of the backfield. That's what wins, and that's what does well. Think about it. If take my Madden terminology away, there is nothing in this life or in this world you can just do on repeat and just know it's going to work, except breathe. And even that can run into problems. Dallas needs to get its offense fixed and corrected, and they need to do it soon, because I had Dallas in the Super Bowl. I also had Oakland in the Super Bowl, and right now I've got a lackluster offense with no kind of signature play calling, and I have an injured quarterback. Woo. Go me. I also want to segue into something that I was not able to talk about last week due to the fact of I just wasn't on, so I didn't get to talk about it. And let me be very clear. This is not an attack on women. This is not an attack on a group of people who are marginalized as women are in sports. This is not an attack on females. It's not. It's just facts. The fact is, Cam Newton was absolutely right in what he said to the female reporter, and you guys all vindicate it by your actions. Let's think about this. And I always hate when people want to sit there and they love to go on Facebook and Twitter and shout, "Oh my gosh, how could you say that to a female reporter? Do you know the struggle they've been through? Do you know how much they've had to persevere and climb their way out to make it in this kind of market?" Wait, what? Hey, so let me ask you a question. Do you know what just happened a week and a half ago? Oh, it was the WNBA Finals, which had low ratings once again. Oh, do you know what happened with the college tournament for basketball for females? Oh, that's right. UConn went on another 100-game win streak, and you didn't watch any of it. And then when they got knocked out of the tournament, you didn't even want to watch the game for the championship. It was, oh, please get this off my screen. The first game of the Major League Baseball season is about to start. The Madden 18 championship game got more ratings than the college basketball championship. But I bet you guys were all on Twitter and Facebook saying, "Oh my gosh, Cam Newton's an asshole. Oh my gosh, Cam Newton is, how can you be so just degrading and rude to women?" What do you guys do? You're the same people that don't want to watch the WNBA. You're the same people that don't want to watch women's college basketball, don't want to watch women's softball. Don't come up and tell me or tell Cam Newton that he's continuing this narrative of marginalizing women in sports when all the fans do. Think about it. Why does, including myself, not a lot of people care about hockey? And hockey doesn't get a lot of national attention because we don't watch it. Does that mean that we're pushing hockey players back? No, it just means it's not exciting, it's not appealing to us, so we don't do it. But no one goes and sits there and shouts for hockey players saying, oh, hockey players aren't getting the chances they deserve, and there's guys bashing them and guys excluding them. ESPN, and I don't remember her name, put a woman in the broadcasting booth week 1, and she hasn't come back. And why is that? For the NFL season, I apologize. Baseball also has a female one, which I'll get to her in a second. Because she wasn't received well. When you don't receive something well as a business, you have to sit there and think, okay, what do I need to do to change this? And because us as fans don't sit there, and I'll be the first to admit, I don't watch the WNBA finals. I don't watch women's college basketball. Very rare exceptions that I even turn it on. But I just don't. And most likely, you don't. But I wasn't going after Cam Newton saying, oh my gosh, how could you be such an asshole? How could you say this about her? Do you know how hard she's had to work? Let me also put it in this perspective here for you guys, because I know there's going to be a lot of people who have quote-unquote outrage against me. When you don't like something and you don't show support for it and you outright avoid it in most instances, and then you jump someone that speaks your actions and he puts those words into existence and you get mad, that's called being a hypocrite. When it came to NFL players kneeling and it came to the flag, the one thing I've never said, and I don't feel I have a right to say, is that even if I believed with it without a shadow of a doubt that, oh my gosh, these players kneeling are disrespecting the flag, I have no right to say that, because like 99% of America, when I sit there and watch an NFL game, I sit there and watch a baseball game, I'm sitting on my couch. I'm laying on my bed. I am not at attention with my hand over my heart. So I have no right to criticize or come from the perspective of you're disrespecting the flag when I don't even show it respect. So for all you getting so angry at Cam Newton saying, oh my gosh, how can he do such a thing? Oh my gosh, like there's a term called feminazis. And that's all you guys became for 24 hours, because it became something to talk about. That's where mainstream media has got an issue. And that's where, not just the media, I'm not even going to push this one on the media. This is on you. If you are listening or you are watching this right now, and you're one of those people that attacked Cam Newton, but you know damn well you don't watch the WNBA, you know damn well you don't watch women athletics, don't come at Cam. Be real with yourself. You don't care about these girls. I'm sorry, some people just like really irritate me when it's like just pure hypocrisy just irritates me. Not even some people, just pure hypocrisy irritates me. And I think it should irritate everyone. But let's move on from hypocrisy, because we have enough of that in the world. So, what I want to do, and I want to kind of switch this up a little bit. So, I know I've been waiting until later in the shows most time to do my top fives, but I'm going to get into my top fives. I'm also really excited. If you guys are listening to the podcast, please go give a thumbs up if you're listening to on YouTube. Subscribe to the channel. Keep listening on iTunes, please. I really appreciate it. All the support's been really cool. I'm about to have my channel assessed by YouTube because I hit the 10,000 view mark. So that was a really cool thing. Excuse me. So that puts me closer to monetizing. This has become my passion. I love sports. Love getting to talk about sports. And this podcast and this whole project has just been a great expression a great pastime. Just it's been everything I thought it would be and more. So if you are listening, thank you. I appreciate it. You guys are amazing. It's really warm right now. I have this really weird imbalance. It's like I have lights shining down on me to help the green screen work, and then I've got my AC from behind, and I have just like this heat in front of me and cool behind me, and my body's just like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Also, I am looking into, and this will probably still be a couple weeks before I get this, but doing a dual person show that will also go up on the YouTube channel, not on the podcast, but it'll be a kind of a debate type of show, but I don't want it to just be outright debating, just another person to give me kind of context and clarification and just different perspectives, because I think the worst thing you can do in this world is masturbate in your own thoughts. That's really bad. So I'm going to avoid that and try to get someone in here in a couple weeks. But now that I've said all that, let's get in my top 5. For today, it is my top 5 sports moments. So what I did is I was like, just in my experience, what are the 5 most impactful sports moments to me? They may not be the most 5 impactful to you, but they are definitely the most 5 impactful to me. Number 5, being dead ass wrong on Mike Trout. And I've told this story before. It was me and a friend, and we were on Xbox, and we'd both kind of switched our TVs from our Xbox, our HDMI, to the TV and watching ESPN. And Buster Olney, this is about 6 years ago now, Buster Olney said the Angels called up Mike Trout, and there was an executive that said he might already be the best player in baseball. And me and my friend just laughed. Because you got to think about it. At this point, you still have Albert Pujols doing Albert Pujols type things with the Cardinals. You've got Josh Hamilton with the Rangers. You have Miguel Cabrera. You've got so many guys that are... The Giants just won a World Series, and Posey was one of their great players. There were so many guys that were so great. And I'm like... And we have to just acknowledge this new guy as the next great thing? That doesn't make sense to me. But 6 years later, oh my gosh, have I ever been so wrong? I don't think I've ever been that wrong on a player before. There's guys I've been like, okay, he's gonna be great. He's gonna be fantastic. I hit on Von Miller. When Denver drafted Von Miller, I was like, that's our best pick. Comparatively to now I've also whiffed on guys Denver's drafted, like Robert Ayers. I thought was gonna be great. Ryan Clady I thought was gonna be great, and he was for the first 5 or 6 years. Then he declined really quick. But Mike Trout is the ultimate, you was wrong. Because all Mike Trout's done in the 6 years since I laughed about him being the best player in baseball is become the best player in baseball. Number 4, Evan Longoria home run, game 162. Okay, let me try to explain this really quick for anybody that doesn't know what I'm talking about. I am a Colorado guy. Right. I started as a Bronco fan, and because of my affection for Denver, even if it's not my favorite team, I like the Rockies and the Nuggets. The Rockies would be considered my favorite baseball team, but a very close second, and there's times where I'm torn on who I like more. But the Tampa Bay Rays, I had such a strong infatuation with. I thought they were such an interesting franchise to be bottom 3 in payroll in the league and compete with the Red Sox, compete with the Yankees, make it to a World Series. I thought it was just incredible. And 2012 is the year, and the Rays were not in it at all. The Rays had a bad season. They had looked like they were coming down from this miracle run that they had, and it was about to be over. Red Sox and Lakers were going to take over. They were out 9 games. 9 games out at the start of September. And while they were as far out as they were, I remember sending a text to my friend. This is the same one that we laughed at with Mike Trout, and I was like, and he's a Red Sox fan, and I'm like, the Rays are gonna do it. They're gonna do something special. Watch. And of course, he laughed and made jokes, and did what he did. During that September, the Rays went, I don't remember their exact record, but went on a run, and the Red Sox went on a losing streak, so that on the final game of the season, they were tied. Our Red Sox had a half-game lead, I apologize. And to make it work on game 162, the Red Sox were playing the Orioles. The Red Sox had to lose. The Rays are playing the Yankees, who were already in the playoffs, and the Rays had to win. Oh my gosh. Evan Longoria, the Rays get down 7-1, and it's like, oh my gosh, it doesn't even matter. Red Sox were also losing at this time. Doesn't even matter if the Red Sox are losing. The Rays are losing, and the Red Sox are starting to put champagne in the locker room. 5th inning, Evan Longoria comes up, 2-run home run. Oh, we have a spark. We have life. The Rays start to rally. 7-4, 7-5, 7-6, 7-7. 9th inning. Evan Longoria up. The second loudest I've ever been watching sports. Evan Longoria. The pitch. 3-1. Whack! Left field. It's going. Just barely gets around the flag. I would say flagpole. Game-ending home run. 162, giving the Rays a half-game lead. The Red Sox going to lose the Orioles, and the Rays take the wild card. And oh my gosh, I've never been that loud before. Didn't even do anything in the playoffs that year. But that moment alone solidified Evan Longoria as my favorite baseball player. That moment solidified the emotional roller coaster I went with the Tampa Bay Rays. And it was euphoria. And fuck the Red Sox. Number 3, Denver winning the Super Bowl. I don't think I really have to explain this one. It was fantastic. Me and the apartment I was living in, me and my next door neighbor, she brought over these blue and orange Jell-O shots. We had blue and orange cupcakes. We had a whole thing. Like, we made a whole day out of it. We'd both been Bronco fans for 7-8 plus years, and it was just this magical thing. Her mom's a Bronco fan, and just this whole celebration. And we're watching the game. We're on our toes. We're yelling at the TV. We're going, oh my gosh, wait, no. Huh. And the final play, or not the final play, but when we finally realized Denver was about to win, Denver was going to be Super Bowl champions, we didn't even really talk. Like, it was just this euphoric, like just started, like, tears and just, oh my gosh, like, and Denver's thing felt surreal for like 2 weeks. I just didn't feel like Denver actually won the Super Bowl. And then I was at work about 2 weeks later, and it just hit me, and I was like, oh my gosh, Denver won the Super Bowl. Oh. So that's my number 3 moment. Number 2 is Kobe's farewell game. If you've listened to me enough, you know my feelings and how I feel about Kobe Bryant. It's the greatest basketball player I've ever seen. And his farewell game was well worth it, and then some. And I'm putting the farewell game over the 81-point game because I didn't get to see the 81-point game in real time. I've watched highlights and replays of it. They have FS West out here where they've played that game almost. They play replay games on Sunday night, so I've seen it a bunch of times. But the farewell game I saw in real time. And what makes the farewell game so incredible is it's not just the fact of all the points he scored. It's not just the fact of 23 points in the fourth quarter. It's not just the fact his career ended. It was the culmination of Like, that's what Kobe was. Like, did he have the skill set, or did he have the leaping ability, or the just shot selection that he had in his first, in his first 19 seasons? No, of course not. But he put the ball in the bucket, and he did it better than anybody else during his time. And I think the best thing about it was Kobe is the only athlete I've ever seen, non-football athlete, outshine the NFL and outshine history. Kobe stole headlines from the NFL and was a talking point of the world when he said he was going to retire after his season. Kobe was the talking point and stole viewers. The Warriors are going for 73 wins that night, and they got it. And no one cared because it was Kobe's last game. ESPN had Kobe's last game on ESPN 1 and the Warriors game on ESPN 2. And Kobe's game is by far the higher rated. And it should have been. And then, my number one moment. I don't ever think I'll get. I don't know if you can top it because Denver's already won a Super Bowl, so I don't even know if you can top this moment with another Super Bowl win. Tim Tebow to Demaryius Thomas is incredible to me, and it's still incredible. Tim Tebow to Demaryius Thomas is. Oh, I remember watching that game and just going. And Tebow actually had about 7 or 8 really good throws. And I was like, this is what the offense can look like. This is what the team can look like. Oh my gosh. But every time he'd throw the ball, he threw it so ugly that you're like, oh, is it going to get intercepted? Oh, okay, caught it. Whew. And it was like 4 or 5 really big plays. And then the Steelers come back in the fourth quarter. They tie it up, send it to overtime, and you're like, oh, this is where it ends. I just had like this feeling in my gut, and I'm like, there's no way Denver gets out of this. This is over. It's it. And then, as soon as I have that feeling, first play of overtime, Tebow takes the snap, throws, Demaryius Thomas on Ike Taylor, catches the ball, DT breaks away, DT's running down, he's at the 40, he's at the 50, he's at the 40, the 30, the 20, and he runs into the end zone, and I mean, I've never shouted so loud in my life. Like, oh my gosh, I've never had such I keep saying euphoric, but that was like, to have that much emotion and rush, like, it was just ridiculous. Tim Tebow gave me so many great memories, and I will never forget what he did. I could make the case Tebow Mania was my favorite part of my top sport memory or sports moment. But just that individual play symbolized so much for me, and it was my number one now and will always be my number one. I don't care how much you guys get sick of me talking about it. Can we also just take a second, and I hate the Chiefs, but, like, can we take a second to realize, like, Kareem Hunt is ridiculous. Like, their offense, Kareem Hunt and Tyreek Hill might be, like, the two most dynamic players in football, and they're all on one team, which I don't think we've had since the Eagles had Deshaun Jackson, Jeremy Maclin, and LaShawn McCoy, and Michael Vick. Like, can we remember how ridiculous that offense was? The Chiefs are really close. Like, the Chiefs feel like those Eagles. But, you know, it happens. Sorry, I just got kind of sidetracked there. I apologize. Okay. So, next thing I want to get into, and I have, since the NBA season is 8 days away from starting now, or 7 days away from starting, I'm going to get into what I think is going to be the 3 biggest headlines going into the year. And they're not a list. It's just the three things that I think are going to be the most impactful or biggest stories of the year. And my first story, LeBron James, who has made it to 7 consecutive NBA Finals, the Cavaliers, who have made it to 3 consecutive NBA Finals, will not reach number 4 for the Cavs, nor number 8 for LeBron. Why do I say that? A lot of people are just going to think that, oh, you're just saying that to say that because it's going to be one of the, oh, do they make it or do they not? It's one of the only things you can choose. This is the year that not only does LeBron fall off, I simply think they're not as good as they were, and I think despite what the Eastern Conference has done as a whole, there's 2 teams that I think have gotten better and will challenge the Cavs for that spot. And here's my reasons. A, in terms of teams improving, the Wizards and the Milwaukee Bucks are legitimate 50-win teams, are going to be legit contenders. I'm excluding the Celtics. I don't think the Celtics will challenge the Cavaliers. I just don't. I don't think they have that kind of personnel yet. Or they're going to gel as well as they should. The Wizards with John Wall, Bradley Beal. Do we understand the mismatch that will create for the Cavaliers? Do we really think a combination of Derrick Rose, Isaiah Thomas, and Dwayne Wade can stop John Wall and Bradley Beal from getting 50 to 60 points? And when you consider what John Wall does, another 9-10 assists on top of that, so creating 70 to 80 points between 2 players. The Cavs don't have 2 players that can create 70, 80 points anymore. The Bucks, Giannis. Let me say this. My opinion of Giannis Antetokounmpo has been improved by the fact of he's a monster on 2K, and I understand that has no real relevance to life, but oh my gosh, after he scores 40 points on you and has like a near triple-double, you're just like, hey, he's the greatest in the game. Giannis, John Wall, Bradley Beal. The Bucks also have Malcolm Brogdon. They have length for days. Greg Monroe, who's an underrated player at this point. He started his career overrated. Now he's underrated. Don't know how you do that, but he's done it. Those 2 teams are better. The Cavaliers are worse. They have Isaiah Thomas coming back in January. They've got D. Rose, who I think will be better than most people expect, but he still isn't what Kyrie was. D. Wade, who I think is going to break down this year. I think we're going to watch a very poor we're going to watch a very poor D. Wade. LeBron's going to be LeBron. Jay Crowder is and Kevin Love has been on a decline since he left Minnesota. Like, there is no star power on this team. It's literally LeBron and a bunch of okay guys, which I understand. LeBron by himself, everyone's like, oh, he can make it to the finals. He can make it to the finals. Do we not understand LeBron has aged better than any player ever? And not in terms of like physically aging, like, oh, he's kept himself in shape. LeBron has taken himself from the perimeter and has slowly built his way to the post. So you don't see him breaking down. You don't see him deteriorating because he's not doing as much physically. He's not doing as much actively. He takes games off, which is brilliant as far as preserving your career and being greater longer than people, being able to make people think that you are greater longer than you actually are. Like, people still think LeBron's as good as he was 4 or 5 years ago, and he's not. He doesn't have the same kind of lift. He doesn't have the same kind of speed, acceleration. He's not as active defensively as he was. He's just not as good as he once was. And that's fine. He's in year 15. I'm not asking him to be year 9 LeBron, year 10 LeBron. But let's understand, he is starting to break down. And to lead into my third point, of LeBron breaking down, it happens quick. There was no... Let's not act like Mike didn't win 6 titles in 8 years, retire for 2 years, come back, and was just boo-boo. Let's not act like Kobe wasn't averaging 27 points a game and then played Washington that one night and effed up his leg and was trashed the last 3 years of his career. Peyton Manning, same thing, fell off a cliff. These great players, I was talking to my barber, and he was like, well, great players, you're not going to see a LeBron play until he's averaging 13, 14 points a game. Of course not. He's not going to get there. But his fall and his decline will be quick, and it will be swift. Sorry for all those LeBron fanboys out there. But other teams have gotten better. The Cavs aren't as good as they were, and LeBron is going to decline. The Cavs will not make the finals. Put it in stone. Put it in writing. Dan Gilbert, blame him. I don't know. Blame him or burn LeBron's jersey. Do one of the two. Because something's going off after this year. Can I also, before I end this show, Shannon Sharp, who is a Hall of Fame tight end for one person's favorite team, he is a hilarious on Twitter. Like, I don't even have to agree with everything he says. He's just funny on Twitter. Like, he's just, like, the other day, or on Sunday, he was posting pictures of himself outside with the e-cig and the Hennessy, and the way he trolls people is just hilarious. Like, or people try to troll him, and he just puts them on their ass. Like, Shannon Sharp, you are my Twitter favorite of the day. And then also, if I can, so Stephen A. Tweeted out about the Cowboys and Packers game. Yeah, he's a bad man, speaking about Aaron Rodgers. And I was like, Aaron Rodgers is the boogeyman to that. Like, he gonna have nightmares. And someone, Liberian Prince at Williams1615 said, correction, Rodgers is effective against their defense. Dak got 4 TDs. He'll be just fine. 2-3 isn't just fine, bro. 2-3 just, and I like Dak. I'm not like, it's one of those, like, you just got to defend your guy no matter what. Like, you got to be like, yeah, then we might have lost and be struggling, but he still has a 63% completion percentage. He still has good numbers when it's 83 degrees outside and the birds are singing. But, Liberian Prince, I appreciate you. I'm trying to be more active on Twitter. Tweet me at HardFoulPodcast. Don't forget, if you're listening, my Twitter, Snapchat, or not my Snapchat, my Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, HardFoulPodcast. My Snapchat, JKid9080. Go subscribe and follow me on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher. Like I've always said, throw a brick through someone's window to let them know who I am. Just any way to get the word out. Appreciate it. I actually lost a subscriber on YouTube. I'm really sad about that. So if you're that person who unsubscribed from me, fuck you. You can't hear me anyway. Yeah, so I will see you guys on Wednesday. No more disappearing for a week. Peace out.